Best-selling author Doug Casey joins me now on the sidelines of the show. He's back with a new book too, Drug Lord High Ground, Part 2 in a 7-part series.
That's right.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Danielle.
So we haven't spoken in a while, so I'd really like to just touch base on a few things here to get your temperament and your feeling on things here. I want to start with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because I've seen, I know you've been asked about Bitcoin in various interviews, and I know you spoke about 50,000 Bitcoin, how it's not impossible.
No, it's not.
Right? So I want to get your thoughts on cryptocurrency. Where does Doug Casey see it right now?
I'm very, very pro cryptocurrencies. Look, they're fiat currencies created out of nothing, like the dollar. And as people eventually move into more and more electronic currencies, it's bound to happen because everybody has a smartphone, and the government is trying to get rid of $100 bills, $50 bills, even $20 bills. The government is pushing people in this direction. The thing is when the US government comes out with its own cryptocurrency, which it will, I'm not going to want to use it, because at the point that they do, they're going to know everything you own, everything you buy, everything you sold, everything about you totally, financially, because it's all about money. So the US government is all for it. But you don't want to use theirs. You want to use a private thing like Bitcoin. I missed, initially I was promoted on Bitcoin when it was only $13. And what I missed about it is, what's the value of it? And I missed the fact that it's as a transfer device. It allows you to get money anywhere in the world without using a bank or the SWIFT system. It can be done directly, party to party. And this is why Bitcoin is likely to continue growing. Why? Because 75% of the people on the planet have to use currencies like watches and pulas and pesos, which are worthless outside their own issuing country and not worth much within the country. So since almost all the people in the world are going to have smartphones in a few years, it's the first thing people in Africa and places like that buy after they have food, shelter, and clothing, they're going to be using Bitcoin for their savings and so forth. It's going to get bigger.
So when you hear talk of 50,000, heck, some people have said 100,000 Bitcoin. It's not absurd to you. It's
already a bubble as a speculation.
Yeah.
It's a little late in the game for an intelligent speculation. The time to have done that was several years ago. I missed the boat. But about 4 months ago, I bought a bunch of these things. I've about doubled my money. But I've got an itchy trigger finger on the sell side because they're not going to grow to the sky. Anything could happen.
A lot of viewers that come up to me will say, I just don't understand Bitcoin. Even if all the videos and research I've been doing, I just, so it's really still misunderstood, right? People just don't get it. A lot of people don't get it, right?
Well, look, it's actually a fiat currency. It's just a private currency. I mean, it has about as much intrinsic value as the dollar itself does. So
do you think it's fair when people debate it and want to compare it to gold?
Well, look, what it's going to be is it's going to be a gateway drug to gold. Because when people buy Bitcoin or these other things, they're intuitively asking themselves, wait a minute, why am I selling my fiat dollars for a fiat Bitcoin? And then they might start examining, what is the dollar? Does anything back it? What's the nature of currency? What's the nature of economics? How does this relate to gold? And certainly as the dollar is inflated at a faster rate in the future, because the US government is running in, they say, good times right now, a $650 billion annual deficit. When times get tough, I think very soon, it's long overdue, they'll be running $1 trillion deficit, $1.5 trillion deficit. People aren't going to want to hold dollars. And especially with the Chinese trying to make the yuan the international currency and replace the dollar, there's going to be wholesale dumping of dollars. This is going to be good for Bitcoin.
Let's talk about the rally that 2017 saw for equities, record highs here. and I've had people coming on now saying, look, seeing a 50% correction here wouldn't be unheard of.
Oh, it's a bubble in the stock market, and it's a hyper bubble in the bond market. It has been for several years. Why? Because not just the U.S. government, but all these governments are printing up lots and lots of money. Where's it going? It's going into the financial markets. That's why you have bubbles in real estate, places like Vancouver and Toronto, and here where we are in San Francisco. And they're going to keep printing that money up. So I don't know when the crash is going to come, but listen, it's like when they're printing up all this money and making these markets crazy, it's a lot like when a tidal wave is going to come in. First, the water pulls back, and you say, oh, look at all those wonderful shells and treasure I can run out there and get. I don't want to do that. And that's the position we're in right now.
Let's talk about your new book.
Yes, I'm not a drug warrior. I'm an anti-drug warrior.
All right.
And what this book does, our hero, Charles Knight, who late of the mining business in Africa and speculator, he now gets into the drug business. Legal, which is to say FDA-related drugs, and illegal, DEA-related drugs. And we examine the way drugs are made, the way the drug business, legal and illegal, works, and the morality of dealing drugs, legal or illegal. These are all morality tales.
So very timely with cannabis stocks.
Oh, yes. And I am invested in cannabis stocks, and I think that even though I don't want to be in the stock market as a whole, I'm interested in stocks in the blockchain area and in the cannabis area, because cannabis is going to become as big, I think, over the next decade or so as the liquor industry is now. It's got real medical benefits for recreational purposes. A lot of people are going to like it, especially if the economy gets bad. They're going to want to hide from things. And of course, in addition to that, you've got the related hemp business, clothing, and eventually it's going to kill the pulp paper business because it's much cheaper and better for making paper than grinding up trees. So many, many benefits. And what's going to happen is that when big companies, big ones, Procter & Gamble, God knows who else, want to get into the cannabis business, they're going to take out existing firms as opposed to try to create it and make all the mistakes themselves. So I'm a long-term bull on cannabis.
Doug Casey, thank you so much for stopping by. It's always a pleasure.
Well, it is, Danielle, every year with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And get your copy, Drug Lord, Doug Casey. Thanks for watching. We'll have more for you on Kitco.com.